welcome to another edition of Shed Talk. I'm here in the flight for the cockbirds. I'm just having a look at the spare cocks, those that haven't been down to breeding. I've got a few of them, and a number of them are looking excellent condition, or getting back into excellent condition. Sad thing is, there's at least one of them who is talking to everything, so really hyper, so bouncing around in the flight, who actually shouldn't be in the flight at the moment. He should be with a friend of mine who a few years ago, a couple of years ago, maybe 3 now, can't quite remember, was giving up the hobby and gifted me some birds, one of which was from my point of view a lovely looking yellow-faced dominant pied, bred for me really well, and actually most of my yellow faces and the dominant pied birds that I've got in some way date back to that cockbird, and the friend's just is always getting back into the hobby, has got back into the hobby. I gave him back the yellow face, and it's only fair that I gift him some of the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of that cockbird. So there are 2 that he selected from photographs that were due to go back a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately due to another lockdown in England that hasn't been able to happen. Hopefully after this lockdown ends, so beginning of December, I'll be able to get up there and give him these birds, and he can get them into his breeding cages and perhaps get something off it, and then maybe going forwards he can gift me a couple back, who knows. That is the way the hobby works, in my opinion, and I've known nothing but excellent people in the hobby who I've met over the time, who will do their best for you if you get to know them. So in this particular edition we're going to have a look at the zebra finches, quick look at those, and then an update on the pairs. As always, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe and do ring the bell. Always helps the channel. Thanks to all those people who have subscribed, and to all those people who comment and continue to comment on the videos. Always much appreciated. So we'll go back into the other shed, the main shed I suppose we ought to call it, and have a look at the zebra finches. So here's the finch flight, feeding time. As you can see, they all seem to be enjoying it. As I said in the last video, there were 2 new members to the flock, just literally just fledged as I was finishing the video at the end of or beginning of November. So let's just take a quick look at those 2 birds. Here's the first of the new additions, straight out of the box. About a week out of the box, I think now. Looks like a young normal to me, although I'm not very good with the zebra finch mutations. Virtually fully feathered in terms of its youngster feathering, although it does seem to have its tail missing, which is interesting because if I show you its siblings, so the sibling sat behind him now. I don't know if you can see this. It looks like to me like one I've already got, which is a light back pied. And I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's been very heavily plucked whilst it's been in the nest box. So when it came out, has all its flight feathers around the top of the head, but all of the body feathers seem to have been removed by the parents. I'll just see if I can get a better view of it. And there we go, there's a slightly better view of this youngster. What I do find interesting is that the pair, this is the third round for the pair that raised this one. In the first round they raised 2 chicks, both of which were plucked, the same as this one. Pleased to say they're both fully recovered. Second round they produced 3 youngsters, I believe, none of which suffered from the parents plucking the birds. And as I say, in this final round, the third round, 2 youngsters, 1 plucked, 1 not. So not sure what's going on there. I don't know whether zebra finches are prone to plucking anyway, but that's the youngsters. I'm not sure if nest boxes have anything to do with it, but this type of nest box was used in, well, they used in round 1 and round 3, so where there was plucking, and one of these wicker baskets was what they used in round 2. What I don't know is whether the fact that there was a limited space in there meant that the parents couldn't get in there to do any plucking, or what, I don't know, but it was interesting that plucking did occur in the plastic type and not in the wicker type. Well, that's a quick look at the 2 new baby zebras. Let me know what you think. I have got now an awful lot of zebra finches in the flight, and I do really need to get rid of a few of them, so I'll have to get one of my zebra finch colleagues down to, or someone that understands a bit more about them, to have a look at them and see which ones, if any, are worth keeping. I doubt they're very much. I think they're all pretty much pet type zebra finches. I wouldn't mind having a go at breeding a few exhibition types, but I need to understand a little bit more about them before I do. As I said, zebra finches, they've now only had 2 originally, 3 rounds, seem to have loads and loads in there now. That's the way it looks when I look into the flight. I wish I could say the same about the budgerigar. So without any more delay, let's go and have a look at how the pairs are doing, or not, as the case may be. So let's start off with pair 1. Pair 1 went down really quickly, almost as soon as I turned the nest box around. Hen was in there, cleared it all out, and actually laid relatively quickly as well. Originally laid 3 eggs, well actually 4 eggs, one of which she broke really early on and got rid of, but the other 3 she laid and sat on. We had a look at those in the last video when we covered how I candle eggs. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link across the top of the screen. You can go and have a look at it. All of those 3 were clear. Since then, she's laid another 2 eggs, but unfortunately she just dropped them in the bottom of the cage, so they got broken, fell through to the cage tray. All of those are clear. My intention now is, in fact I've just started it, remove the eggs 1 every 2 days. Once there's no eggs in there, I'm going to turn the box around, give her a week out of the nest box so she gets back interested in it again and gets back interested in the cockbird, refill the nest box with some bedding, turn it back round and give them 1 more try. So that's pair 1. Seems like it's going to be off to a good start. Actual fact, not particularly that good. So let's have a talk about pair 2. So this is pair 2. As I say, you can see from the nest box, I've turned this one round. She laid 1 egg, so she again went in reasonably quickly after turning the nest box round. Cleared it all out, laid 1 egg, sat on it for a couple of days, and then decided to break it, and hasn't laid since, but has been just sat in the nest box. So every time I come in, I'm expecting there to be eggs in there, but nothing at all. So clearly she's not in the right condition, and just being sat in the nest box isn't helping at all. So I have turned the nest box around, that way she can get reacquainted, as I said, with the other one, with the pair 1, get reacquainted with the cockbird. I think you can see in the background he's chasing her over the place. she's actually quite desperate to try and get back into the nest box. But I'll give it a week, turn it round again, put some more bedding in there and give those another go. I'm hoping that on the second attempt we'll be more successful, both with pair 1 and with pair 2. So pair 1, pair 2, not really great. Let's have a look at pair 3. So here we are at pair 3. Pair 3, in fact the hen's being in a typical position, sound asleep on the perch. Not done anything, pair 3, so the hen hasn't looked in the nest box, not touched the nest box. Cockbird's being friendly, I suppose, so he's trying to encourage her, he's trying to feed her. She's showing absolutely no interest. I'm going to give these no more than another week or maybe 2. If there's no sign of the hen going in the nest box or doing anything, then I think what I will do is remove this hen, put her back in the hen flight and try this cockbird with a different hen, the next best hen that isn't too closely related to him. The reason I said I'm going to give him another week is because actually one of the other pairs, the sister of this bird that we also put down, also showed absolutely no sign that she wanted to go down to breed, and literally today I come in the flight today and she's beginning to show an interest in the nest box. So it may just be that she needs another week. This bird here needs another week. So pair 1, eggs all clear and all smashed. So no luck with pair 1. Pair 2, 1 egg which she then broke and then hasn't laid any more. So no luck with pair 2. Pair 3, no interest at all in the nest box. So, not very good start to the breeding season given that I only put down 6 pairs. Let's have a look at the final 6. So this is pair 3. I don't know if you can see, let me just see if I can zoom in just a little bit. But no birds in the cage at the moment. That's because they're both deciding to go into the nest box. So cock's following the hen into the nest box. The hen is cleared some of the nest box out. I'm not sure if I showed you this, but I think I might have showed it in one of the last videos or a couple of videos ago. But she'd partially cleared it out. Wasn't doing a very good job. I've moved a bit more of the stuff out. It feels like she's getting ready to lay. There are larger poos on the bottom of the cage than there normally would be. So I'm expecting her to lay any minute, but she does seem to be taking her time. I'm not really happy with the cock showing so much interest in terms of sitting in the nest box, because that sometimes means that the eggs can get damaged or addled just because of the 2 birds messing around in there. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. So pair 4, hopeful, but at the moment still nothing. In fact, the cock's just popped back out again. So there you go. So there's the cockbird. Like I say, so nothing so far from pair 1 and pair 2. Although we got eggs off of those, but no fertile eggs. Pair 3 showing no sign whatsoever. Pair 4, our pair, the pair we're most interested in. I'm hopeful here that we'll get something off this pair. So let's have a quick look at pair 5. So this is pair 5. Both the cock and the hen sat either side at the moment of each other, not showing much interest, and both sound asleep. It's obviously snooze time at the moment for the birds. I was getting a bit worried about these because they were showing very little interest. The cock was spending an awful lot of time sat on the cage floor chatting to the cage floor bars rather than chatting to the hen. However, he started to show a bit more interest, and as I think I just said, today when I came in doing my normal clean-up, the hen was starting to show an interest in the nest box. She was hanging on the outside, kept looking in to see what was in there. So I'm a little bit more hopeful with pair 5. Cock was showing a lot more interest in the hen than he had previously been doing, and she was responding to that. So it looked as if he was going to feed her, which is unusual for this cockbird, because although he's bred before, he never shows any interest in feeding the hen, and also very little interest in, or no interest at all in terms of feeding the youngsters. So very much just fertilised the the eggs and nothing else. So a little bit more hopeful for this pair than I was earlier on. So we'll keep an eye on those. There was one other rather interesting thing that threw me a little bit with this pair. It was just one of those strange things that happens in the shed. You can see the white D-cup feeder there that contains the grit and the charcoal. Well, I topped that up, and next day I came in, not only was it removed from the side of the cage, but it was actually lying on the floor of the shed. So they had somehow managed to get it off the side of the cage and out through the door. Thought nothing much of it, popped it back in there, refilled it, popped it back in there. Next day exactly the same. Didn't refill it the next time, just popped it back in there. So the next day exactly the same. So not sure why or how they're doing it, but for some reason they certainly don't want that white pot in the cage, and I'm not even sure which bird it is because it's happening when I'm not in the flight. So that's pair 5, a little bit more hopeful with pair 5. Let's turn our attention to pair 6, the final pair I put down. So here is pair 6. Pair 6, the hen cleared the nest box after a couple of weeks and actually cleared it completely, so there was very little stuff in there, and then just sat and it seemed like nothing was happening, and then lo and behold, beginning of the week she laid the first egg in there, which was really good news. So I put a little bit more of the bedding inside the box because now she's laid eggs, it's unlikely she'll carry on clearing the box, just to stop the eggs from rolling around. Came back in the next day, egg was missing. Thought, oh, here we go again, same problem with the others, with the hen deciding to destroy the eggs. Very next day, there was another egg laid in the nest box, so this time I put a marble in there so that she had 2 things to sit on, and if she wanted to play around with them, she would, you know, if she did break the second egg and then tried to break the marble, she wouldn't. And in the past, putting a marble in there and letting the hen try to break it, eventually she gets bored with that and just sits on it, and then I found that future eggs don't get broken. So done that, and touch wood, so far so good, that she's sitting on both the marble and the egg. So I am really hopeful that this pair 6 maybe, or fingers crossed and all the rest of it, just may be the one where we'll get our first full egg out of it. So be interesting to see whether that happens or not. So that's pair 6, that's all of the pairs of birds that I've got down. So unlike the zebra finches, oh, not having a good start, but there you go, that's the way. Yeah, problem with breeding budgies, I suppose, is that who knows, you never can tell. Maybe I've just got them down at the wrong time and that none of them are interested. Maybe none of them are in perfect condition. Let's wait and see. Well, as you can see, not the best start to the breeding season for the budgerigars, but as somebody once said, it'll be alright in the end, and if it's not alright, it's not the end. Let's hope that's the case this time. Well, it is the end for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and as always, do comment. I do enjoy the comments that people make. As always, stay safe and enjoy your birds.